Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I tell you what, folks, I've been hooked on General Hospital for more years than I can count, and this week's episode's got me grinning from ear to ear like I just won the county fair raffle. You know, I was sitting there with my coffee watching Harrison Chase, that solid young fella played by Josh Swicker, getting ready to make a big arrest. My heart was beating a little faster because everybody's wondering the same thing. Is Jen Sidwell finally going to get what's coming to him? That slick character Carlo Rota plays has caused enough trouble already. After all the mess he pulled, slipping away with help from that fellow pretending to be Nathan West, turns out it's Cassius Faison, Ryan Pavey, back on screen. The police have put out a warrant for him. I reckon even a regular patrol cop might be the one to slap the cuffs on him. Sidwell's on the run now, but I don't think he's going to get very far. You know how these things go in Port Charles? The past always catches up, just like old debts and old neighbors back home. What really tickles me is where he might be hiding. The man can't exactly hang around the main part of Windermere anymore, but I bet my bottom dollar he knows about those old catacombs and tombs underneath the place. It makes perfect sense! Those underground spots are like a whole secret world down there. Remember when Jocelyn Jacks and Dr. Liesel Obrecht were held captive in that area? There are probably a few hidden rooms, or apartments as I like to call them, where a desperate man could lay low without showing his face upstairs. And don't get me started on that old laboratory hidden down below. That's where Liesel was working on finishing Caesar Faison's last big project, some kind of cold fusion weapon prototype. The place sounds big enough for someone to hide out for quite a while. Every time I think about it, I shake my head and smile. These writers sure know how to keep an old man like me on the edge of my seat. I've seen a lot of storylines come and go over the decades, but this one feels personal somehow. Chase is one of the good guys, steady and honest, the kind of man you'd want your daughter to bring home. Seeing him chase down Sidwell gives me that warm feeling of justice being served, even if it's just on our favorite soap. I sure hope they catch him soon, maybe even this week. What do you think, friends? Will Sidwell manage to slip away again, or is this the end of the road for him? I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. These stories remind me that no matter how dark things get, there's always hope and a little excitement right around the corner. God bless those folks at General Hospital for keeping us entertained all these years. I tell you what, that Sidwell character really takes the cake this week. I was watching with my morning coffee and just had to laugh out loud at how the story unfolded. There's Cassius, laying it all out plain and simple for him, telling Sidwell straight up that he can't help with these charges anymore, and that the smartest thing to do is pack his bags and run somewhere far outside the reach of the Port Charles Police Department. Any reasonable person would listen to good advice like that and disappear quick, wouldn't they? But not our Mr. Sidwell. Oh no. This fella is so full of himself, so bursting with confidence in all those secret backup plans he's cooked up, that he doesn't even hesitate to show his face right out in public. Can you imagine the nerve? It's like he believes he's above the law, walking around like he owns every street in town. That kind of arrogance always gets me shaking my head, but I'll admit it also makes the story so much more exciting. I've seen it time and again in life and on this show. When a man gets too sure of himself, that's usually when trouble comes knocking. What really tickles me is how bold he might get. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if he turns up somewhere right out in the open, maybe strolling along the docks where boats come and go and folks are busy with their own business. Or even cheekier, imagine him hanging around near the Quartermain Mansion of all places. That big old estate is full of history and strong personalities. I bet he still has some unfinished business with Tracy Quartermain, that feisty lady Jane Elliott brings to life so perfectly. Tracy's not one to back down from anyone, so if Sidwell shows his face there looking to stir up more trouble, things could get real spicy in a hurry. Now, that would be the perfect moment for our good man Harrison Chase to step in. With that arrest warrant already out on Sidwell, Chase is bound to be keeping his eyes wide open. I can just picture him getting the call and moving in fast. Chase is one of those steady, honest fellows, the kind you root for with all your heart. Seeing him go after someone as arrogant as Sidwell gives me that warm, satisfying feeling like watching the good guys finally win one. Sidwell must have an ego the size of Texas to think he's completely untouchable. I've been following General Hospital long enough to know how these things usually play out. The villains always think their clever little plans will protect them forever, but Port Charles has a way of catching up with everyone eventually. It reminds me of those old stories my father used to tell about outlaws back in the day. Men who thought they were too smart for the sheriff, only to trip over their own pride in the end. There's something comforting about that, even if it's just a soap opera. It makes you believe that justice has a way of showing up when it's needed most. My wife and I have been talking about this storyline every evening. She loves how it keeps us guessing, and I agree it adds that little spark to our days. Will Sidwell's confidence turn out to be his greatest strength, or will it be the very thing that finally brings him down? I'm betting on the latter, and I can't wait to see Chase do what he does best. These writers sure know how to pull at your heartstrings and keep you coming back for more. It's the kind of drama that feels real somehow, even with all the twists and secrets. No matter how dark things look, there's always hope that the good folks like Chase will set things right. God bless this show for giving us something fun and heartfelt to look forward to week after week. I'm sitting here smiling already, wondering what's going to happen next. I tell you what, this part of the story really warms my heart because it gives our boy Chase a real chance to shine again. After all the trouble he got into for stepping up like a true hero and saving Willow Kane, that sweet girl Caitlin McMullen plays so well, he ended up getting knocked down to regular patrol duty. It wasn't fair, but that's how things go sometimes when you follow your heart instead of the rule book. Now, with this big arrest warrant out on Sidwell, Chase has the perfect opportunity to turn everything around and rebuild his good name as a fine police officer. Every time I think about it, I smile. Whether Chase spots Sidwell sneaking around near the Quartermain mansion, down by the busy docks, or even just happens to be in the right place at the right time, catching that arrogant rascal could make Chase a real hero in everyone's eyes. Not just some guy doing his job, but the kind of officer folks look up to and feel proud of. Sidwell is no small-time troublemaker. He's a dangerous man on the run, the type who wouldn't think twice about shooting someone or framing innocent people to take the fall for his own dirty work. That kind of villain makes your blood boil a little, doesn't it? But it also makes you root even harder for the good guys like Chase. I've seen Chase grow so much over the years on General Hospital, and this storyline feels like it's meant to lift him back up. Doing something as important as bringing in a criminal like Sidwell could be exactly what he needs to earn his way back to being a detective. The job he truly loves and deserves. You can just feel how much it means to him. It reminds me of those old stories about honest working men who get knocked down but keep pushing forward with quiet determination. That's the kind of character that touches your soul, especially when you've been watching the show as long as my wife and I have. The more I watch, the more I believe this could be a turning point for Chase. He's got that steady, decent way about him that makes you want him to win. And with Sidwell strutting around thinking he's untouchable, the stage is set for something big. I sure hope Chase gets that moment, the one where he snaps the cuffs on that villain and takes back a little of the respect he lost. It would feel so satisfying, like a warm slice of apple pie on a Sunday afternoon. All in all, these twists and turns on General Hospital keep me coming back week after week. They remind us that even when life knocks you down, there's always a chance to stand tall again if you've got heart and a little help from fate. I can't wait to see how it all plays out for Chase and the rest of the folks in Port Charles. It gives an old man like me something nice to look forward to and chat about with my neighbors. God bless those writers for creating stories that feel so real and full of hope.